Chances are that if you know somebody with a Nintendo 3DS right now, you know somebody who's playing Animal Crossing, No Leaf. The game was already a smash hit in its home territory, where since its release in November, it's sold 5 million copies. Nintendo revealed via its Facebook page that 5 days after it hit the U.S. market, it had already shifted to 100,000 units. What makes the game so enduringly popular? Months after its initial release, you can find Japanese players still tweeting fresh photos of their towns on their homes. How do you design for longevity? And why is the game gentler than its predecessors? At last week's E3, Gamasutra sat down with Nintendo producer Katsuya Iguchi, also the producer of the Wii Sports series, to ask him some questions about the game's design. It's a world with rules, based on the way things work in the real world, in terms of economy and human relationships. How do you decide how those kinds of rules work in a game like this? Katsuya Iguchi will take this into consideration when making our games, but specifically with Animal Crossing. Our intent was to create kind of a parallel world, a world that's kind of similar to your own, but also different. And you spoke about relationships. There are people in your real life that you like and some that you do not like. There are different personalities that you are drawn to and others that you might want to stay away from. Also, people look different, so all of the characters in the game are created to look different. You mentioned the economy. We created stuff that you might want to buy. But in order to buy those things you have to make money, and in order to make money you have to work. Our intent in creating Animal Crossing was to create this mini world that you live in. So certainly we take into consideration those rules that you have to live by in the real world, and those are reflected in the game as well. By necessarily creating a world and creating rules, you also create a set of values. By what's valued in the game, what you value as a person is communicated through the game. Can you talk about that? Katie, you speak about values. Everyone has different values. Some people might think a certain item has more value than another does, or may think it's worth it to spend bells on a particular item, when someone else does not. It's all kind of like things in this life, this value system. Your tone becomes a reflection of your values. The time you spend on relationships reflects how much you value that relationship. As someone creates their tone, it's a reflection of their values. And when you show it to people, it should be something that you want to be shown off to people. It's something that you should be proud of. Esports team owners and professionals are reportedly convinced that many organizations are overvalued, and because of that, a market correction is looming on the horizon. This prediction comes after esports organizations Infinite and Echo Fox laid off staff, signaling the start of a market correction which seems likely to occur until 2019. As reported by Sports Business Daily, in the past 12 years, since traditional sports teams started acquiring esports organizations, faith in the long-term potential of video games has grown. On the other hand, pessimism about the short and medium-term longevity of esports teams is also growing as the pressure to spend grows faster than revenue. The terms at which some leading esports teams have raised additional investment capital appear separated from standard business metrics. According to Sports Business Daily, outside of sponsorships, there needs to be a consistent physical source of revenue, ticket sales and in-person merchandising, coming in for esports teams to offset spending deficits. Mike Sapsel, an esports consultant and founder of Major League Gaming, explains how market expectations around esports organizations are based in optimism, To investors, esports are the perfect blend of both technology and sports. The optimistic point of view is you are combining both the long-term value accretion of sports franchises with high growth, early-stage tech multiples. Said. He continues on, saying the travel pressure is not a major issue yet, and the investors believe sponsor and ad dollars will trickle in. There is always urgency to monetize. But at this stage in esports, it's definitely not panic. The strongest organizations are the ones least dependent on competitive teams to make money. So teams that run other endeavors on the side. For example, a team, Liquid Dreams gaming community websites, a Wikipedia-style site, etc., are more likely to generate more revenue. It's worth noting that these are just market predictions, so it's too early to draw conclusions. The FBI announced earlier today that it took action against the 15 domains that reportedly helped take down other people's websites, game servers, and other online services through distributed denial of service (DDoS) attacks. This is pretty notable, as the holiday season tends to be plagued by DDoS attacks, at least according to the FBI. Successful DDoS attacks have been known to take down game servers, like Blizzard's Battle.net in the past, so devs should be mindful of that in the future. As reported by Kotaku, the FBI seized 15 websites that allow anybody with Bitcoin or a credit card in exchange for overwhelming a server with requests. Domains yesterday including criticalboot.com, regibutor.com, downtime.org, and quantumstress.net. Because booters provide less powerful DDoS attacks in exchange for little money, they have gone largely unnoticed since they tend to be marketed as stress testers, designed to help people test a server's capacities for withstanding such attacks. According to the FBI, these services are easy to find and a low barrier to entry for users looking to engage in cybercriminal activity. These services offered easy access to tech infrastructure, payment options that included Bitcoin, and were relatively low cost. Reads the press release issued by the FBI. Each of the services was tested by the FBI, which verified those DDoS attack services offered through each of the seized websites. While testing the various services, the FBI determined that these types of services can have caused disruptions of networks at all levels. Facebook has rejected a trailer for Grease after deeming its imagery sexually suggestive, a decision which publisher Devolver Digital calls really stupid. Facebook rejected a Grease launch trailer ad for this sexually suggestive scene, so this year is going great so far, Devolver Digital tweeted yesterday afternoon, attached with an image of the scene in question. The scene features a statue of a woman, WITHHing her shoulders exposed and the rest of her form taking on the look of a tower. Besides her shoulders, there does not seem to be any nudity, and the amount of her body that's visible remains the same throughout the game. A PR professional working WITHDEVOLVAR Digital tells Bullet on that Facebook refuses to accept the argument that there's nothing inherently sexual about the imagery. This is really stupid. We appealed and Facebook said the appeal was rejected based on the grounds that Facebook does not allow nudity. They said, first of all, she has a statue, and second, absolutely no nudity is shown in that photo, nor is this what any reasonable person would consider sexualized content. They also mention how THEYINCLUDD pictures of sculptures depicting nude men and women, found through a Facebook search. These images were publicly available to view on the platform, to which Tinsley suggests is a double standard on Facebook's part. Facebook's community guidelines clarifies that photographs of paintings, sculptures, and other art that depicts nude figures are exceptions to the policy on content including adult nudity and sexual activity. With that in mind, it's interesting that the trailer was still rejected. Developer has not said whether or not they will submit a different version of the trailer presented by Ilphonic, the studio that developed the No. 3 game on PlayStation Store. A 2017 Friday the 13th, the game, F13, is ramping up production on several unannounced projects, according to leaders at the studio. This led to the opening of a new studio location in Tacoma, in November 2018.